Hey chat, how are you? Sigh. So, I'm cleaning out our little front doorway entry porch area, and there's heck of spider webs all up and down our door and entryway, doorway. There's little side cubbies where leaves collect, spider webs, cobwebs, etc. So I take the vacuum to it and I start sucking everything I can in. Now, there are spiders, there are spitters who are live and living their best life while I'm doing this. And I try not to suck them into the vacuum. I don't want to hurt them, okay? They're our friends. They kill parasites and other bugs. But every once in a while, I do get a vacuum. Every once in a while, I do get a spitter into my vacuum, and I'm sorry, I killed you. But if you want an omelet, you gotta break some eggs. There's some collateral damage. But the bigger issue is that I'm destroying their home. This house that they have built, this residence, their condo, if you will. I'm sucking it all into our Hoover vacuum, or as my mom pronounces it, vacuum. And I feel apologetic. I feel bad about it, but what am I supposed to do? They're unsightly. I'm not running a freaking haunted house. So as I move the vacuum, I use the small nozzle with the thin nose as I'm sucking spider webs and cobwebs and the occasional live spider and a few dead spiders. And it's like eminent domain. I'm taking their home and I'm destroying it. And I'm going to build a highway through this place. But as I'm tearing down and razing their houses, I scream, gentrification! We're going to put up a Starbucks and another Chipotle because that's what we need. And we'll drive out the people who grew up here, and the yuppies and the artists will move in, and I'll get rich off of this real estate. Which coincidentally was the plot to Goonies, Barbershop 2 Back in Business, Billy Madison, Empire Records, and Don't Mess with the Zohan, if I'm thinking clearly. So Lennox's bike is now my bike. He got his electric scooter. So right away I noticed the brakes are shot. Like one brake is completely destroyed, does not work at all. And the other is like 1 out of 10 stoppage power. So I take it to West Capitol Cyclery and I say, hey man, can you fix me up here? And he says, takes a look at it. And he says, I suggest a tune-up. It's going to cost $60 and we're going to need the bike for 2 to 3 hours. And I said, why a tune-up? And he said, well, the handlebars are crooked, the rim is bent, this pedal is broken, and blah, 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 and on and on. I was like, okay, buddy, simmer down. And I said, well, I just want the brakes fixed. How much for that, and how long will that take? He said, take about 5 minutes. I'll charge you about $5. And I was like, all right, bet. I gave him 10. I'm a good tipper, 100% tipper, 100%. So Carolyn dropped me off. We threw the bike into her Kia Sorento and drove over there. And I didn't know how long I was going to be. So right away, he's like 5 minutes. So I go outside and say, honey, we could go home right now. Could wait a couple minutes, throw the bike back into your Sorrento and head on home. But I said, I'm going to ride home. I'm going to ride my bicycle, or as they say in Spanish, mi bicicleta, a la casa, way, okay? And much like when Babe Ruth pointed to left field to predict a home run he was about to smash, I pointed southeast and I said, I will ride the bike all the way home. And Carolyn was like, okay, whatever. So she takes off. 5 minutes later, bike's brakes are perfect. They actually work. They stop the motion. So I'm like, all right, well, here I go. Here I embark on my journey. So I'm starting out on West Capitol Avenue, which is a busy street-ish. And I get about 500 feet down the street, and I'm like, what the hell did I get myself into? I'm tired, my butt hurts, there's traffic, there's cars, there's unhoused people who add to the mayhem and cheese. Just another cause for concern, shall we say. So I'm like, okay, do I ride my bike with traffic or against the traffic? This is the eternal question all of us lifelong bicyclists face. And at first, I was going alongside the traffic because that's the side of West Capitol Avenue the bicycle shop is. And then after a few hundred feet, I was like, hell no, because every single car coming behind me, I think is going to kill me. I think is going to run into me, and I'm going to be just blood and guts on the side of the road. And so I'm constantly turning back and I'm going sort of fast. So I constantly got to turn forward to make sure I'm not hitting a curb or a bottle or debris in the roadway, in the traffic lane, in the bike lane. So my head is just on a swivel, going back and forth. I think every car is going to kill me. And I was just like, what the hell have I gotten myself into? Sidewalks should be bigger, okay? The sidewalks should be bigger. Can we all agree? Run into a gentleman who's doing work or something. I don't know. He's there with his truck as I ride my bike by, sort of struggling because there's many cracks in the sidewalk and bumps and hazards that I need to avoid. And so I'm often stopping and just kind of walking with my bike between my legs, which is quite the look for a 47-year-old man. But guy's standing there, and I'm barely moving past him, and he said, "Yeah, the sidewalk should be bigger, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, the sidewalk should be bigger." Was that a fat joke? Okay, because that hurt my feelings, bro. But he does make a good point. Sidewalks should be bigger. I mean, just your average sidewalk is for two people walking side by side the same direction. What the heck? Yes, sidewalks should be bigger. The entire ride, which was 3.2 or 3.3 miles, depending on which way you map it on Google Maps, I felt like a moving, defenseless target. I felt like I was constantly in the crosshairs of every single car, going with traffic, going against traffic. It's just my life never ending, flashing before my eyes. You drivers, you people with vehicles, you are maniacs. How about we all slow down and calm down and give us bicyclists some room to breathe, okay? Me and Lance Armstrong, we need just the peace of mind when we're riding down roads and sidewalks and alleyways. I was just a bundle of nerves. I was going to go to Chase Bank, the ATM, which was sort of on my way, depending on how I went home. But I was like, no, because someone's going to be staring at me, get some cash out of the automatic teller machine. And then it's open season on me, okay? I'm going to get strong arm robberied by some randos Because I'm on a bike. I don't have a car to protect me. I can't go really fast in a car. I can't drive away super fast. I can't do donuts. I can't do sideshows in a bike. And I was like, so okay, I don't need to have cash on me. So it was quite the journey, 3.2 or 3.3 miles, depending on how you throw, depending on which avenue you click on Google Maps. And it was a thing. And I thought, I haven't ridden my bike this far since I was in 7th grade. And me and Ryan Anson would ride our bikes to Jack in the Box, and the Rancho Bernardo Town Center. And I was like, I haven't ridden my bike that far since then, and I will never ride my bike that far again for as long as I live. But this was my Sturgis, my journey to Sturgis, from the West Capitol Cyclery to our condominium, 3.2, sometimes listed as 3.3 miles. I want to make this an annual event. This will be my every year Virgil when I ride my bike and test death and scare the living crap out of me for 3.2/3.3 miles. Oh yeah, this is gonna become a thing. Bike lanes are a joke. Like what? Whose idea was this? There should just be bigger sidewalks and divide the sidewalks into pedestrian and bicicletas. Because bike lanes, you're so close to a car. All a car has to do is slip the driver the handle, the steering wheel, and you're gone in the blink of an eye. And that scares the crap out of me. Bike lanes are more like death zones, and especially on South River Road, which I took partway to get home. The bike lane, like 2/3 of it is drainage. It's like drainage ditch or whatever for sewer, and then the 1/3 is nice flat paved asphalt. But I can barely pedal and steer as it is, so I was constantly going from rugged, jagged sewer drainage thing, cement, to freshly paved asphalt. It was a lot. And Grandma T and my mom asked me, "Are you wearing a helmet?" And I said, "Hell to the nah, I'm not no nerd." So my car was leaking oil, and I noticed after a few weeks, like there's oil on the garage floor, on the cement. And I was like, that seems like a lot. And I look at Carolyn's part of the garage, and I see virtually no oil, virtually zero brown. So I go grab a piece of cardboard and put it where the oil's leaking. And I'm like, okay, well, any fresh leakage, it will land right on this piece of cardboard. Lo and behold, yes, I confirmed it. My engine is currently leaking. I take my car straight over to Quackween of the famed Grease Guys Automotive in West Sacramento, and he takes a look at it. So day one, Saturday, drop it off early. By the way, I'm 4th person in line. He technically opens at 9 a.m. Carolyn and I get there at 8:45 a.m. I'm 4th in line. Okay? That's how busy he is. That's how good of job he does, and that's how affordable and honest he is. So drop it off Saturday. And then he calls me at 2:30ish. Come on back. I know what's going on. Head back, and he's showing me my engine, and he says, "Oil everywhere." And I was like, all right. And he said, "Just oil everywhere." And I'm like, okay, I got it. But he said it could be one thing, it could be 8 different things in the engine, but you just gotta narrow it down. So he replaced the gasket valve cover, which is a thing. I have no idea. $250 cash out the door. $280 if you pay with credit card. I got the cash money. And so that was Saturday, and he's like, yeah, I can't fix it today. Bring it Monday. And I was like, okay. Because he's closed on Sunday. So Monday, which I already had off, take it to him, and he fixes it. He has it for several hours. Afternoon, gives me a call, 4 p.m.-ish. And he says, yeah, I replaced the gasket valve cover, and let's see how it drives and see if there's any more oil leaking. So bring it back. And I said, okay, I'll bring it back on Saturday. He's like, all right. And then he calls me personally on my cellular telephone, and he says, I don't think you should wait until Saturday. Come back tomorrow. And I said, okay, I'll be back Tuesday. Take Tuesday off, bring it on over. And he looks at it, and he's like, it looks good. Oil? Not everywhere. And I was like, all right, cool, perfect. And he said, come back Saturday just to be sure. And I said, okay, Quaquin. And I put a new piece of cardboard, no oil, each and every day. I checked it that week. And on Saturday, head on over. And he confirms, oil, not everywhere. Oil, nowhere. And so everything was hunky dory, and I was super happy and super elated. He gave me 3 quarts of oil for free, because I was low on oil. I was doing oil change. And he made he always says, I made a little video for you. And I was like, okay, a little video. And he starts it. He doesn't start it like what he doesn't start it like the video when he's in the engine, like, hey, look at this, and this is over here, and look about. He's walking. He starts it walking towards my car. So he's got like a camera crane tracking shot or something. I'm like, okay, Martin Scorsese, simmer down. But he said it was perfect. He cleaned everything. There was no more oil spillage. So I was just so glad that he took care of me, and for cheap, because via Google and via Reddit, oil leaks can cost easily $1,000, over $1,000. And my car's KBB, Kelly Blue Book, value is about $3,000-ish. And so he said if the problem was vast, and it was going to be over $1,000, he's like, just don't worry about it. Just keep driving. Just add oil when you can. And I was like, no problem. I'll keep a quart of Valvoline in my trunk. I tell my mom the entire ordeal, and she says, oh, my car's been leaking oil for years. And I was like, okay, that's great. Of course, my car leaking oil, she would be militant about it. Like, go get it checked, go get it fixed. I'll help you pay for it. But her car leaking oil, well, what are you gonna do? Other stuff happening in my life. I've been drinking straight from the 2-liter bottle of diet soda or diet cola. Sometimes I just take it from the fridge and take it straight to the head, straight to the dome. I mainline it, I house it, I smash it, because I'm a real man. And yeah, it's probably not the best example as a head of household for Lennox, but whatever. Okay, I'm out here doing my thing. Speaking of Lennox, I bought him an Outcast shirt. It's the CD album cover picture from their record Stankonia. And I saw it at Walmart, or as my mom pronounces it, Walmart. Cost $8.98. They didn't have his size, so I just went on the old Walmart.com, bought his size, and he's already worn it. And yeah, it's a little something to see Len wearing a picture of a young Andre 3000 shirtless on his t-shirt, but he rolls with it. And he knows they're cool, and I know they're cool, and he appreciates the tea. I bought some window screen from Lowe's, 25 feet. It came in a roll. I've been getting my window screens from Amazon, and their stuff is so cheap and so paper thin, and it doesn't last. It's not quality. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll go to Lowe's, get some quality window screen, and I buy a 25-foot roll. Instantly, I should have returned it. It was like metal. It was like super hard. It wasn't screen. It was hard alloy or whatever. So I cut it about a 2-foot piece. I'm trying to put it on the window screen. I'm doing my best. I'm like, this is not the droid I was looking for. This is not the window screen I was looking for. So I try to return it, and they're like, oh, you already cut it, so we can't take no returns. And I was like, great. $36, by the way, for this roll that I can't use. So I contact the manufacturer. So retailer, no go. I contact the manufacturer, a company called MD. Never heard of them. I go to their website and I say, I was very careful with my language, and I email their help, whatever, contact us, customer service. And I say, hey, I bought a roll of your window screen, and it was not what I expected. And they replied, okay, we'll return it to Lowe's. And I said, Lowe's will not take my return. Is there anything you can do for me? Help me help you, MD. What can you do for me? Are you with me or are you against me? And they got right back to me and they said, we'll send you a new roll, sir. And I was like, all right, buddy. So they mail out a new roll. I take this new roll to Lowe's with the same receipt. And I say, hey, here's my receipt. Here's the exact same roll. It's not technically the same roll. It's not the same atoms, okay? It's not the same cells. It's not the same, technically, not scientifically speaking, not the same roll, but it's analogous to the roll. It's the roll, but it's not the roll. And a little boop, boop, boop. They're like, all right, $36 back to your U.S. Bank shopper's credit card. And I was like, yeah. By the way, the Lowe's guy grabbed my phone. Okay, because I had the receipt in my Lowe's app. And I'm like, yeah, it's transaction 41286. And he's looking at my phone. He's like, oh, okay, 41286. And then he needed some more information from the screen or whatever. So he grabs my phone. He starts pinching and zooming and clicking. And I was like, oh, now I got to throw my phone away. Dirty hand, man. Actually, his hands were relatively clean. Seemed like a nice, upstanding young man. What's up with the price of walnuts, yo? So, Carolyn and I like walnuts. I like them in my oatmeal. She throws them in her overnight oats. And sometimes she bakes with them. But I go to Walmart, check the Great Value brand, their in-house generic off-brand brand. Of great value. It's over $10 a pound for walnuts. And I was like, what the heck? And the Fisher brand, the Blue Diamond brand, all in the $10 range. I'm like, this should be about $6 per pound. We found a small bag at the grocery outlet bargain market. This is half pound for $4. So $8 a pound, which is still high. But not highway robbery, like $10 a pound. But what's up with, has Trump's tariffs hit walnuts? Is it Biden's fault? Who can we blame for this? Never mind eggs, okay? What about, never mind gas? What about walnuts? The omega-3s, they're good for your skin. My mom, Grandma Tien, her boarder/roommate gal is moving out. I don't know. She's going to Florida. She's having car problems. She's graduating nursing school. I don't know. But she will be, my mom will no longer have a $1,200 a month rent. So she wants to take on another renter, but that can be dicey. But actually this gal came to her recommended from some guy who worked on her house, some contractor guy who she got to know, got friendly with, and so she came in with high recommendations. She's been fine, but she's gone. So my mom is she wants the $1,200 a month for the room, but she also wants peace and quiet. Although my mom is less bothered by that the older she is. She does her thing, and she does not care. Meanwhile, me, I would obsess about randos living in my home. Cleaned the toaster the other day, spilled breadcrumbs everywhere. Breadcrumbs everywhere. But thankfully, got our robot vacuum to pick it all up. The cleaning toasters, those things are so cheap. You might as well just buy a new one. Such a pain. So I lift. I'm really strong. And for 6 months or so, the clock in our condominium gym has been broken. And I've always looked at it and I'm always like, HOA should fix this. Our maintenance guy should fix this. Kathy Bailey should fix this. Well, I went from should to do. I became a doer. And I came home and I grabbed a AA battery. It's one of those super cheap clocks. You can get at Walmart for $4 or $5. Came home, grabbed a AA battery, went back to the gym, plugged it in. The clock is working. And I made a difference. I'm not going to stand here. There's 3 kinds of people in this world. 1, what the hell happened? 2, make things happen. And 3, I don't know what's happening. And I became the one that makes things happen. And every time I look at that clock with the accurate time, I think that's because of me, bro. Speaking of window screens, so the Amazon window screens, they come all folded up because it's easier to ship that way in thin little boxes. But the downside of it being all folded up is that when you try to make a window screen, the mesh has folds in it. It has like creases in it, and it's hecka difficult to get those creases out, especially when it's just little old me crawling around on my garage cement floor. It's impossible. And so those folds and creases and marks do not come out, and they sit there on the window screen. But it's fine, I say. It's fine. But Amazon says, well, and that's another reason why I bought a roll of MD window screen from Lowe's, is because it comes in a tightly wound roll. And to me, that would be easier to lay out flat and get T-A-U-T, taut, or flush, or whatever, flattened screen. But the Amazon, one of the little pieces of paper, the inserts that come with the window screen says, you put a hair dryer on it, that'll take the creases out, okay. And then the other thing is just hang it up on the wall until you're ready to use it. So I hung up a large piece of window mesh screen on our garage wall, and it really looks like my "Don't Tread on Me" flag. It's just a giant dark gray window screen, but all it needs is a serpent and a little yellow, and then I'll be a right-wing Republican. First of all, terrible title, or season 2. Now listen, I love season 1, season 2, big miss for the most part. So one of the characters' name is spelled N-A-Z-Y. Yeah, N-A-Z-Y. Do you want to join the Imperial Alliance 9? So there's 4 main storylines in season 2 of or. One is the Gorman politicians / elites yapping, and that's boring. Another is Cassian's storyline, which involves rebels for a few of the early episodes. And the rebels just yell at each other and argue, and you're like, this is just dumb. You're wasting my time. Another storyline is there's a torrid love affair between two Imperial officers. The son of which has a mum who is quite outspoken on her son's behalf. Oh, been there, bro. And that storyline is good. Her and him. It's not traditional Star Wars, but it's cool. You're like, all right, this is unconventional sci-fi fantasy, but I can dig it. I can dig it. And then the other is the Empire's conducting searches, Gestapo-like, on some planet, which is actually the best storyline. So the good of Andor season 2. Money. They spent money. They built practical sets. Yes, there's a little CGI, but they flew to locations, and so there's good practical physical sets. And you're like, wow, this is cool stuff. As far as the plot and the story and the acting, flashes of brilliance. Really, there's some Star Wars magic sprinkled here and there, but not nearly enough. The bad. I guess I already started with the bad. Too many characters. I'm like, who's this guy? What's his motive? Oh, it's the poor man's Hidalgo. What's his agenda again? What's his? What are they all about? I forget. There's too many worlds. There's too many planets. There's too many people. There's just too much going on. It's hard to keep track of. And so you just surrender yourself, and you're just like, oh, I'll just go along with this, even though I have no idea what's going on. There's too much. TOO space MUCH. Too much. Episode 8 is getting all the press because it's a protest that gets out of hand. I hated it. I thought it was boring and stupid. It begins with a ton of chanting, like 45 minutes of chanting, and then it turns into singing, and you're like, okay, is this Les Mis or what's going on here? But it just felt so dumb and so small time. And I was just like, this. And episode 8, made me cry. Okay, whatever. But listen to your friend Vince Nicholas. Skip episode 1 through 9. Now you might be saying, Vince, if I skip episode 1 through 9, I'm not going to know what happened. Well, I watch episode 1 through 9, and I don't know what the hell happened. So just skip episode 1 through 9. 10, 11, 12. Excellent television. Harkens back to Andor season 1. But 10 to 12 are really, really good. Don't waste your time with episode 1 to 9. Cassian Andor's storyline sucked. Like, first the rebels were arguing and yelling, and then he pretends to be a reporter, and he's trying to assassinate someone, and it goes nowhere. And it's just like, dude, this is your title character. This is who the show is named after, and this is the best you could give him. This is the best you can do. I don't know. But you know what? The best thing is that this is the final season, the second and final season, which is crazy. Normally they would milk it, and you'd be like, Andor is season 18, but second season, final season, and I guess the episode 12 leads to where Rogue One started. I liked Rogue One. I can barely remember it. I watched it 15, 20 years ago, and that's great, but I don't know. Skip it. Like I said, skip it. Anyways, alrighty. Well, I think I'm done. Okay, I guess I'm out. Peace out. Take care. Brush your hair. See ya.